Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I'm Simura here, and in today's video I'm gonna be talking about whiff punishing in Street Fighter V and how you can get better at it. Now, whiff punishing is a big aspect of the game, especially at a high level, and it is a skill that a lot of people really respect. If you're not aware what is whiff punishing to begin with, well, it's when you punish an opponent for whiffing. So for example here, Bison tried to use his crouching medium punch, it whiffed, and I can punish it with my own crouching medium punch. The idea here is to trick the opponent into thinking they are in range to attack you, but then actually they will whiff and then you will hit them as they are whiffing. That is the concept of it, and this can be done in many ways. Now, one of my earlier videos I've talked about auto-spaced whiff punishes or spacing traps, and this is one of the most common ways that people actually get to whiff punish. Let me show you an example of what I mean. A move like Rose's light kick spiral, right? This is -10 on block. If I'm doing it from a range where I am unsafe, Bison will be able to punish me with his crouching medium punch, right? It's -10 on block, he get to punish me. Now, one thing that you can do is to space the move so that his crouching medium punch will not reach, right? That is the idea, and with that I can actually punish him on whiff. So he will try to block punish me, his medium punch will whiff, and I will punish him for whiffing, right? I will be leaving a link to that in the card above. I've talked extensively about like how you can find sequences so that you can set this up. It's a very important skill and you will need to use that for your own characters, especially at high level. Now, there is something about whiff punishing that I have to be perfectly clear about. It's a very important skill, yes, at high level, but in many ways it depends on the opponent just as much as you. The basic concept here is for you to be in range where you think the opponent will do a specific attack. So for example, with Rose, if I'm standing here, I am in M. Bison's Psycho Axe range, that is his down forward heavy punch, right? So the entire idea of me standing in this range is to trigger him to use this attack. So if I'm here, he will go for the Psycho Axe and he will hit. So the concept is for me to stand here and actually bait him into doing it, see it whiff by walking backward obviously, and then actually punishing him on whiff. Attacks have recovery frames where after you like the character swing with the attack, they have recovery. It is different from one attack to another, but what I'm trying to say is the entire concept is to bait the opponent. Now, if the opponent is just someone who is completely random and is not really playing the character in the way that is somewhat optimal, I say don't bother trying to bait for whiffs. This is very important because a lot of people get fixated on trying to play the neutral and trying to play a poke and whiff punishing game when the opponent is not really interested, right? If the opponent is not playing properly or is not playing in any logical way to begin with, it is useless honestly to try to play that way. But let's assume that the opponent is playing in a logical way, then what I said just applies. It's the concept of trying to bait them by being in the range and then walking backward or even just standing still and waiting for them to whiff. Now, this requires a lot of matchup knowledge because like I said, here is M. Bison's Psycho Axe range, while for example if I'm on the blue line, this is his standing heavy punch range. See what I'm saying? The entire concept relies on Bison knowing his ranges, or at least roughly. We need here to rely on Bison knowing that if I'm standing here, standing heavy punch is probably a better idea than Psycho Axe. And that is how you get to whiff punish. For example, if I am standing here, yes, his standing heavy punch is a threat, and that means that at this range I will get to whiff punish it, right? Now, heavies in general will be easier to whiff. Obviously, whiff punishing does require some sort of reactions of you, but you can say it's an educated reaction, kind of like an educated guess. Like you stand here, you anticipate the action from the opponent, and then you react by inputting your own normal. Now, obviously, this will require some practice from you. You have to know if he's doing that, I can whiff punishing with this, etc., right? And it will also rely on your setup, and unfortunately I hate to talk about that stuff, but it is a reality. If you're on PC in general, it's a lot easier to whiff punish than if you are on PS4, and obviously your monitor will also matter as well. There's a lot of tech that goes into this, but you know, obviously with a better setup, less input lag, whiff punishing is gonna be easier. Now, one other thing that you will have to know is that some attacks are almost useless to whiff punish. For example, M. Bison's crouching medium kick, right? It is unlikely that you will be able to whiff punish this, and a big part of the neutral is either whiff punishing it by anticipation, so I know that M. Bison is likely to throw this, and I can preemptively whiff punish it with an attack like Rose's standing heavy punch, right? This is not a reactionary whiff punish, this is me knowing that yes, from this angle, this move will beat his crouching medium kick, so maybe I will be able to get the whiff punish on it. A character like Poison and her standing heavy punch is very good at this, because a lot of characters try to use their low pokes, and her standing heavy punch is very good at stuffing these, and the same for Rose, right? You just expect them to do it from this range, and bam, you preemptively throw out your standing heavy punch. And obviously she have other attacks like say her forward medium kick, which will also be good at stuffing these sort of attacks, right? So that is another concept. Now, one thing I have said previously, and this is very important, is that you need to not be fixated on it. A lot of players have, you know, when they're trying to whiff punish the opponent, they make it very obvious, which lets the opponent get away with dashing at you. The tough part about whiff punishing is still being ready to check the dash. Bison obviously have one of the slowest dashes in the game with a very obvious visual cue, so that is, he is a little bit easier to check, you know, in regards to dashes, but that is the threat. That is what makes it really difficult. Even if you're like completely ready for it, dashing can be difficult, and like I said, it's just an aspect of the game. You have to think about it naturally. Honestly, don't overthink it. Just know that from this opponent, Bison is likely to use standing heavy punch and be ready for it if it whiffed. Here maybe he is more likely to use Psycho Axe. If I'm standing here, maybe crouching medium punch, crouching medium kick, or standing heavy punch. It's just about knowing your opponent's ranges and relying on the opponent player actually making sense of these ranges. And like I said, if the opponent is not really playing the two-player footsies game, I wouldn't really bother with it that much. And obviously the rest of it comes down to just practice, right? Like do Bison whiffing his standing heavy punch 10 times and try to find the optimal punish, etc, etc, and obviously with practice and matches you will get better at it. And that is pretty much it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, it helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.